my name is Daniel Mart, back again. I am an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida, and for this video, I want to discuss what's going on with O Cinema and No Other Land and all the censorship that's going on. So yeah, for those who don't know what the O Cinema is, that is a local independent movie theater that we have here in Miami Beach. It's just about half an hour away from where I live, give or take. Maybe more because of traffic, if you guys know Miami. But yeah, like the past 2 weeks, ever since the Oscars happened and No Other Land won Best Documentary Feature, the mayor of Miami Beach has been wanting to ban No Other Land, and more specifically the O Cinema, which again is an independent movie theater that we have down here, for showing No Other Land. So yeah, that's the drama we have right now. So yeah, for those who don't know, No Other Land is a Palestinian film, or a film about Palestine. It's a documentary film about what's going on in Palestine right now. And I mentioned this when I was saying my Oscar predictions, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't really understand why this is so controversial, in the sense that war is bad. Why is it so controversial to say that? Now, I have also admitted that I really don't understand the specifics of what's going on in Palestine and Israel. I understand there's a lot of geopolitics to it, and I'll fully admit I don't really know the pure specifics of it. But I feel like at a very base level, we can all agree that war is bad and this should be resolved in some capacity. But even saying that is controversial, and I'll be called Zionist in one way, and I guess racist in another way. I don't know. And yeah, so I really don't care in that regard, to be completely honest. But that's also the situation we find ourselves in. And ever since No Other Land won the Academy Award, for the most part, there was no drama like right off the bat up until this happened. So Stephen Miner, he is the current mayor of Miami Beach. He's the one who's been basically trying to spearhead this censorship towards No Other Land, and specifically towards the O Cinema. Now here's the funny thing that I thought about the O Cinema, and that's that I thought they went out of business around the pandemic. I straight up thought they went out of business, because nobody's mentioned the O Cinema since then. I haven't heard anybody talk about the O Cinema. There used to be a lot of events at the O Cinema before the pandemic that we had here in the film industry, and then after the film industry went on hiatus because of the pandemic, nobody's mentioned it. There's been no events anymore at the O Cinema. Most of them now take place at Sabre Cinema. So I was kind of surprised, like, when I saw this, I'm like, the O Cinema is still around? What? So there was that initial gut reaction, but then I started looking into it, and honestly, it really does come down to just basic censorship. This guy, Miner, he is abusing his power to shut down a film, the showing of a film, because he just doesn't like the content of it. And here's the thing, you can disagree with the content of a film anytime you want, you know, that I'm not disagreeing with that. If he doesn't like what it's portrayed about Palestine or Israel, or if he disagrees with the war for whatever reason, that is his right. But I don't think he should be able to just flat out censor the movie. More so, I don't think he should be able to punish any business, any establishment that is now showing this movie. In fact, because of the fact that he is trying to actively censor this film, the O Cinema has actually gotten a boost in ticket sales, specifically for No Other Land. There are now more showings of No Other Land through the O Cinema because of that. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit tempted to now go watch No Other Land just because of this whole drama, not gonna lie. But I'd also have to go to Miami Beach, and well, that's kind of a cesspool of filth, and no thank you. But yeah, so what are my thoughts on it? Just censorship bad, essentially, and I just think it's kind of dumb and random. There's been a lot of petitions, a lot of protests, a lot of rallies to have this not happen, and this has been going on for the past 2 weeks, I want to say, ever since the Oscars happened, or maybe 3 weeks at this point. However, in the past week and a half, it has really blown up. There's been several upon several rallies. I believe there is a protest or a rally like right outside the mayor's office or the mayor's building, if I'm not mistaken. So there's been a lot of craziness going on, and I'm not really sure how this is going to end. Right now, from the latest articles I've seen like 2 different viewpoints on it. Like, oh, it's ending this way, and then never mind, it's going to end this way, but never mind, it could still end that way. And there's some reports that's saying that he may just back off on this and not have this happen anymore. He may, like, just let the film play at the end of O Cinema. He may not, I guess, encroach on O Cinema's rights, if that makes sense. Like, because there are reports he kind of just basically wants to shut O Cinema down as well. But, you know, there's reports that he doesn't want to do that, but then I'm also seeing reports that he's still going full force with it, and he's trying to get more legal action against them just for showing this film. And I really don't know how this is going to play out, to be completely honest. I think just at a basic level, all types of censorship is bad. I don't think you should be censoring a movie. That's in this current political state, there's a lot of buzzwords being thrown around. Not to get too political here, but this is one of those situations where I do have to get political. Because of Trump being president, and I'm not going to say if you agree with Trump, cool, if you agree with Trump, you're bad, whatever. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But because Trump is president, and because of a lot of his current actions right now, there are people saying that, oh, he's a dictator, he's a fascist, he's this, he's that, whatever. I'm not going to fall into that camp because I don't know what to think yet. I'm still seeing how things play out. However, because of that, and because of who Trump is as a personality, that has incentivized certain people, especially certain people in politics, to act in a certain way, in a very reactionary way, I would say. And in the past, where they may have not been as emboldened to take some of these actions, and I think we're seeing the results of it right now with Stephen Miner, and him trying to basically outright censorship this film, O Cinema, trying to shut his business down because of all that, because people are doing stuff that he disagrees with. And I think that's just wrong. I mean, it's part of our amendments. You know, you have freedom of speech, freedom of media. That should be freedom of speech. That should be freedom of media. And the fact that he's just trying to, like, block it outright completely, I think is just deplorable, and I think it's just sad. Again, you can disagree with the film, you could disagree with what the film is saying, but that doesn't mean you have to shut it down. I don't know why this example is popping up to my mind, but I almost want to think of Blackfish. I believe that's what the movie's called. It's a documentary movie based on SeaWorld from about, I don't know, 2008, I want to say. And that had a lot of misinformation. But people just tried to, like, say, hey, this is the misinformation in this film, da. As far as I know, as far as I've seen, nobody's ever tried to censor that movie. Again, that's another documentary. I'm trying to think of other documentaries that have come out, even in recent years, that they had a political statement to it, but they weren't censored in any way. Porcelain Wars from last year as well. Navalny, Maripol, a bunch of these other movies that dealt with these similar issues, whether it be the war in Israel and Palestine or the Russia-Ukraine war, whatever. And none of these are censored, and now all of a sudden this one is. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that because it won best documentary at the Oscars, it's like, I don't know. I'll be completely honest, I haven't seen the movie, and like I said, I really don't know the specific politics behind it. But I think regardless, if you're trying to censor a movie because of whatever reason, something you disagree with, I think that's just very scummy. I think that's just very deplorable. And yes, I am using that buzzword because it's kind of fits in this situation. There's a part of me that's just a little bit not surprised by how this turned out, just by the sheer virtue that this is a person from Miami Beach, specifically. If you're from Miami, there's just certain areas where you kind of don't like going to. Miami Beach is one of them. We love the beach. We love Lincoln Road. We love that area, but sometimes the people there are scummy. Minor, yeah, you're scummy. I just felt like this is such a big drama, especially here in South Florida, that I just felt like I wanted to talk about it, because it just seems like such a no duh, this should be the reaction. But I'm also baffled by how many people are actually agreeing with them. It's like, you guys are agreeing to censorship. Y'all realize that. Like, you guys are, in one way, you're fighting for freedom of rights, freedom of speech, and at the same time you're saying, hey, no, this should not be allowed because you disagree with the politics of it, so now we need to censor it. I just find that kind of ironic as well. I'm not really sure how it's going to end, to be honest, given the circumstances behind it, given the fact that I'm seeing articles going both ways on it, so I'll see how that turns out. I just have to disagree with it. It's like, really, that's what's going on? So right now, all I know, a bunch of protests, a bunch of rallies behind it. We'll see how it turns out. I don't think, at the end of the day, I don't think anything's going to come out of it. I don't think this movie will be censored at the end. I don't think O Cinema is going to go under or be shut down, even though I really thought they were shut down because of the pandemic, but that's a whole different discussion. But yeah, I think this will blow over within the next month. I'll be surprised if this is still a situation within the next month, even within the next 2 weeks, to be honest. So yeah, but I just felt like I wanted to talk about this, especially because this is something that's happening locally for me. And yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off.